What is going on, beautiful people? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be talking about the most affordable places to live in Denver. So if you're moving here and you're thinking, maybe I kind of want to save a little bit of money as I'm kind of just figuring things out or where I want to live, then hopefully you can learn some of the areas that might be a little bit cheaper than some of the other areas. And hey, if this is your first time on the channel, you want to learn a little bit more about the Denver area, living in Denver, the good, the bad, the ugly, make sure and hit the subscribe button down below, the bell icon for notifications. That way you can be notified anytime I come out with a new video and you can be the first to learn about the Denver area. If you don't already know, my name is Michael and I get people reaching out all the time looking to make a move or they just have some questions about Denver. So if that's you, whether it's 2 weeks, 10 years, whatever it may be, I am more than happy to answer whatever question you have and help you make a smooth move on out here. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So if you're somebody that is, thinking about, let's move to Colorado. Maybe you're just getting out of college, or maybe you had a life-changing experience that is like, hey, let's just do something crazy. Let's move out to Colorado because I saw it in a TV show one time. Let's go do it. Now's the time. But at the same time, you're like, oh man, but it's expensive out there. Or you might be a little tight on money and you just want to save a little bit of money because you're not necessarily sure what's going to go on. Well, then you've come to the right place because we're going to talk about 7 places that are on the more affordable side of things, and that might help you get started out here in Colorado. And then who knows, maybe 5 years down the road, you're moving up to one of the more expensive areas in Denver. All right, starting off the list at number 7 is Brighton, Colorado. Now this is kind of on the northeast side of Denver. It's kind of on the outskirts and actually doesn't even really feel like Denver. It's almost like an Eastern Plain, Colorado. You can still see the mountains from Brighton, but it definitely doesn't feel like Denver at all, but it's not too far out. But if you're just looking at properties in general, condos, townhomes, single family homes, $530,000 as the median home price. If you're looking at single family homes specifically, about $540,000. And if you're looking to rent, the median rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house is about $2,500 a month. And a quick disclaimer, all the data that I am sharing with you today is directly from the MLS, and some of these areas don't have a whole lot of data, so I used what I was able to get. Some have a lot of data and is very accurate, but some might be a little bit off. I just wanted to share what I could find. But if you're looking at specific areas or you're wanting to know, current rent prices in certain areas, because this is all as of February 2024, if you want something a little bit more accurate, feel free to reach out and I can try and give you a little bit more updated idea of what it is at the time that you reach out. And the other thing I'll quickly mention is I highly recommend renting before buying anything, especially when you're first coming out here, because all these places are so different. Because everywhere in Colorado, especially Denver, is very different from each other. You can literally buy a place right here and 2 to 3 blocks north can be a completely different area. And so I wouldn't necessarily buy anything until you come here, check out a bunch of areas, really figure out what's best for you. But let's get right into the next one. All right, coming in at number 6 is Thornton, Colorado. When looking at all property types, the median price point is $530,000 and the median single family home is $579,000. Now you're probably thinking, hold up, both of those are more expensive than Brighton, what you just said. And the reason I put Brighton right behind Thornton is because Brighton is quite a bit up there and there's not as much up there. It's quite a bit smaller than Thornton. Thornton's very large and it's actually closer to Denver. So I think the majority of people would actually probably prefer Thornton. And the other thing is there's a lot more variety in Thornton. So even though that's the median price point, you can definitely find things a lot lower than you probably would in Brighton. Now, if you're looking to rent a 3-bed, 2-bathroom house, you're gonna be looking at about $2,400 a month. Now, for something a little bit smaller, like a 2-bed, 2-bath, probably about $1,850 a month. All right, coming in at number 5 is Westminster. That is on the northwest side of Denver. It's kind of on the way to Boulder, but not quite. You still got quite a bit of ways between there, but it's kind of right there. It's a little bit open, a little bit more spread out than some of the other suburbs in Denver. But looking at all property types, the median price is $520,000 and single family homes are about $559,000. Median rent for a single family home, 3-bed, 2-bath again, is about $2,650, and for something a little smaller, 2-bed, 2-bath, about $1,625. All right, and coming in at number 4 is Commerce City. Commerce City is just southeast of Thornton, Colorado, and it's just directly east of Denver. And if you're looking at all property types, about $520,000, single family home, about $535,000. And if you're looking to rent, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, again, about $2,700 a month. Although I made a note on this one, very little data in this spot, so I wouldn't necessarily go off that one 100%, but I think I had like 3 or 4 data points in the last 6 months or so. So take that for what it is. but I imagine you could probably find something in that price range, if not a little bit cheaper. Now with Commerce City, it's a little bit more centralized to Denver, but it's also a little bit industrial throughout Commerce City. So just something to keep in mind. Maybe that's something that you don't care about, or something that you're like, I kind of want to avoid. All right, coming in at number 3 is Aurora, Colorado. Now this one, there's a little asterisk on this one because Aurora is so big. So depending on where in Aurora, because you can go to a spot in Aurora and you'll be like, hey, where are these prices you're talking about? Because they're not around here. And that's just because that's all of Aurora. And this, I took all the data and combined it. So this is just the median price for all property types. $475,000, and for a single family home, $535,000. Median rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, it's gonna run you about $25.50 a month, and for a 2-bed, 2-bath, about $17.50. And I know there's a little asterisk. I'll talk a little bit more about this at the end, but let's get on to the next one. All right, number 2, we have Northland Colorado. Very tiny little town. It's kind of in between Thornton. You have Denver, and you have Thornton, and then you have like Northland, like right here. It's this very tiny little area, but it's very secluded. And I actually lived there for about a year, and I actually really loved it. You're not too far outside the city, but at the same time, you don't necessarily feel like you're in a city. You feel like you're kind of in like a smaller town. It's not necessarily as busy as some of the other places, but that was just kind of where I was at in Northland. So that's just a personal opinion. But anyways, if you're looking at all property types, $478,000 median price point, and for a single family, $478,000. So we're starting to get into the high 400s for a median single family home. Now for Northland specifically, there was almost no data on rentals. I did find a few, but they were 4 to 5 bedroom homes with 2 to 3 baths, and that was about $2,800 a month. So maybe if you have a bigger family, or you just have a teenage daughter that really needs her own space, her own bathroom, maybe Northland's a good spot, because for $2,800 compared to some other places throughout Denver, it's not bad. You're getting a pretty good deal. And number 1, we have Federal Heights, Colorado. Now I imagine you probably haven't heard of Federal Heights because it is a very tiny little spot up north of Denver. It's just a little bit west of Thornton, but tiny little area. And for all property types, $395,000 on average, and for a single family home, $388,000. And they had absolutely no data on renting in Federal Heights, so I don't have anything for that. But what I will say is Federal Heights is home to Waterworld. If you don't know what Waterworld is, and you're planning on coming to Denver, I highly recommend going in summer because it is such a great water park. And you can spend a whole day there. You're gonna be very tired the next day, but they have rides, they have slides, they have a couple wave pools, they have a place for kids. It's really good. The food, it's not bad. I really don't have high standards for food, so maybe I'm not the best person to reference when I think their food's pretty good, because you get like a little pizza and a drink along with your day pass. I think it's good, and maybe it's just after walking in the sun for 6 hours or whatever it is, it just tastes really good. But I think their food's pretty good. It's definitely worth at least trying out once. So, if you're coming here, you're looking to live cheap, go there. Go to Waterworld a couple times, it's great. All right, now let's talk about that asterisk on Aurora. So I know it doesn't make sense to look at all of Aurora because it's very different, but I did section off Northern Aurora, which is kind of where the most affordable stuff is. And I wanted to give that like a bonus spot because it's definitely a little bit different than Aurora in general, but I didn't really feel like it was fair to put it twice on the list. But in kind of like the northern section of Aurora, like the north top third, the median price for all property types is $420,000. And for a single family home, $475,000. The other really nice thing about northern kind of Aurora, and not some of the newer developments, is no HOAs, taxes are still pretty low there. There's a few other places scattered in some of the other areas that I said just like that, but northern Aurora, it's really cheap and really affordable for that reason. If you're looking to rent a single family home, 3-bed, 2-bath, about $25.50 a month, and for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, about $16.50. Now I will say a lot of these are just kind of, a lot of homes or homes to rent. If you are, a single person looking to move here, there are definitely apartments in the 1300s in multiple places. You can find rooms for under $1,000, especially if you are okay with living with people in a home, or maybe you have a friend that's living out here and they want to rent you out a room. You could easily find rooms for $800-900 a month, and you can save quite a bit of money if you're just moving out here by yourself. You're not necessarily looking to buy or rent a house. That's kind of what you can expect. Another tip is there's plenty of Facebook groups that have, people looking for other roommates or to share a house with. Maybe you all, 4 or 5 of you get together, rent out an entire house for $3,000, but then you each get your own room and it's like $800 a piece. You just kind of share. So there's always people looking for roommates or just kind of doing something like that. Or if you're looking for something to buy and maybe you're by yourself, or you just have you and your spouse, but you also have a friend moving to the area or somebody else is coming with you, and you could buy a place, rent them a room out, cut your mortgage down quite a bit. And you can have a nice tenant live with you for a little bit while maybe they figure stuff out. So you can kind of help them, they can kind of help you. Win-win situation. I definitely still recommend having like a lease in place, making sure that house rules are very lined out, because I've definitely heard situations of think you're best friends and then all of a sudden you live together and then all of a sudden you hate the person. So make sure you have those expectations set up prior to doing that. That way you can be a good landlord, they can be a good tenant, and it can just be a mutually beneficial relationship. But that'd be 10 times better than finding roommates on Craigslist, because you never really know what you're gonna get on there. It's kind of a roll of the dice. But who knows, maybe you're someone that likes to roll the dice and get what you get. But anyways, I hope this video kind of helped point you in the right direction of places to look if you're looking for some of the more affordable areas throughout Denver. And hey, maybe you're looking at this video and be like, what are you talking about? You never got to the affordable places. Well, all I have to say to that is, this is what we got to offer. I'm sorry we can't accommodate you anymore. Sorry we can't do any better for you, but it's what it is. Maybe you look a little bit south or kind of the eastern side of Colorado, but that's probably the cheapest you're gonna find throughout Denver. But anyways, I wish you all the best of luck finding your place. But again, if you do need some help and you just, you have a strict budget, tight budget, need a little bit of help finding something and you have nowhere to go, my contact information is below. I'm more than happy to help you find the cheapest place or whatever to fit your budget and help you get out here within your budget. So again, make sure like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Would really appreciate it. But until next time, I will see you guys later.